Yes, y'all, welcome to episode 6 of Ageless Living, Creative Wellness and the Art of Alignment. It's such a great pleasure and an honor to continue the series. It's definitely been such a lovely and wild roller coaster in life so far. And I mean, I'm talking about really when I started this series is what I'm alluding to, but I mean, isn't that what life's about? Going through the ups, the downs, the rides, and all of the thrills that come along with it. Giving thanks to the divine, to the creator, let us start by taking a breath together as we expel all of the air out of the body. Breathing all the way down into the core, down where your reproductive and elimination organs lie, creation and destruction. And then breathing again into the heart and letting it go. Give thanks. You know, a big theme in Kemet is we talked about Makteru, true of word. And it continues on even in these next affirmations that we are going to visit. So, without further ado, we're going to get into affirmation 12, 13, and 14 of the 42. So number 12 is I have not, or excuse me, I was about to say the law. The law pretty much alludes to I have not eaten my heart out. And so the affirmation to align with this is I embody integrity. So the idea of not eating my heart out is doing something that is going to weigh your heart down. And, you know, Ma'at is all about keeping the heart lighter than the feather, or as light as a feather, so that we are doing things that really are not, you know, just not only physically or mentally, but also emotionally impacting in a way that is just pretty much robbing us of the love and the deeper divine connection that we have, not only to one another, but to ourselves, to nature, to life. And so the idea of not eating your heart out and really moving with integrity is like moving with the ib or the ab, which is the heart in Meru Neter. The 13th affirmation, I and I preserve peace. And this goes to the law. Let me double check that law real quick. So yeah, this goes to the law, just to make sure we quoting it properly. Here we are. I have not attacked any person. So yes, I and I preserve peace. I think that's definitely important, especially in these times that we're seeing right now where so much violence, and not just in terms of physical violence, but people are just eliciting violence with their words. Number 14, I am trustworthy. I am trustworthy, right? And the reason, once again, we say an I and I is because, like, we're affirming these things for the community, for the whole, for the people. Now, we're going to get into the wisdom teachings of Ptahhotep. And, you know, it's going to definitely bring up a few different things. Like, there's a few things I want to talk about. It's like the more I study Kemet, for example, I'm seeing that there's a lot of ways that we are trying to either connect or justify certain ideas in other cultures in order to make it seem like Kemet was the predecessor of a lot of this information. For example, like when we talk about astrology, right? Like Kemet was very big on astronomy. Kemet was very big on, of course, seeing the constellations, and had its own system. And even when we look at the chakras in India, right? Like there's a lot of mirroring in a way that people try to make that are really modern day things. And I feel like what happens is it takes away from the beauty and the power that really is Kemetic and just Kemetic and Medu Neter knowledge, the divine wisdom teachings that came with the systems that were very practical, right? Like a lot of people, once again, they get into this mode and this vibration of woo woo, like this is all out there. But there was so much practicality in what the people of Kemet were really embodying. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, there's a few things I want to talk about. I'll try to not make this one too long. I don't really like any of them being long, you feel me? Like, just roll through the vibes and, put the next things on the next episode. But anyway, let's hit this next instruction from Ptahhotep. Number 8 states, if you are a person of trust sent by one great person to another great person, be careful to stick to the essence of the message that you were asked to transmit. Give the message exactly as he gave it to you. Guard against provocative speech, which makes one great person angry with another. Just keep to the truth. Do not exceed it. However, even though there may have been an outburst in the message, you should not repeat it. Do not malign anyone, great or small. The Ka abhors it. Yes. The Ka, the vital force, the double, if you may, when it comes to that part of us, that essence of us behind the almost like very like subconscious type of vibe, right? There's something deeper within us that sometimes we are knowing we're doing something wrong, and it could be so distasteful that deep down we really do know, we know it and we feel it. We feel it viscerally, right? It's weighing on the heart, going back to the heart. And so the goal of Ma'at is to keep our heart as light as a feather. And, whenever we are sharing speech, exaggeration and gossip is definitely something that is so toxic and so, unfortunately, so common. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was also aggression, right? So I love this this instruction because it's basically like, yo, if you're supposed to deliver some news, like deliver it honestly and with integrity and be a trustworthy person. And literally that's going right into the affirmations that we had, right? That align with the laws. And so it's really interesting how all of this is aligning in such a beautiful way with the instructions of Ptahhotep, right? So I think there's another part, when it comes to provocative speech. And yeah, that has to go into aggression. And even in this, it kind of talks about it a lot, like even the idea of, giving the message exactly as it was given to you. And, guard against provocative speech, which makes one great person angry with another. Just keep to the truth, I think is powerful. And then, a few sentences after, however, even though there may have been an outburst in the message, you should not repeat it. So basically, like, yo, if you don't got like good news that you passing on through, might as well just let that thing loose, you know? Like what is really the intention and the impact that you may have if you are delivering some information that may not necessarily be tasteful. You know, I just want to also break something down. Like, you know, I had an issue with somebody the other day because I just feel like they were being very rude to me, right? In terms of like just, you know, like, I mean, legitimately ignoring me, right? And so I got mad, I got aggressive, and I pull up on this person. I'm like, yo, what's up? And I realized that we don't really know why people may feel offended or be moving a certain way that they are. And honestly, that's really not our problem. But one of the things that we can do before we think that we need a whole space for ourselves, like holding space for others, right? And so somebody may be moving in a certain manner, in a certain tone. And I've been in this position before where even somebody's like venting. And the idea is just to be able to like, you know what? I recognize that this is coming from a deep place, that you may be feeling some type of way. You may be trying to work through something, and you have a certain level of trust within me to sit here with you, right? Now, how often do we create that space, whether it's for friends or maybe it's not somebody not so friendly, but just to be able to create the room and say, you know what? Like, let me not lean into my own understanding. Let me really try to be present with this person, because being present with each other is something that I think is really lacking in the society right now, which is why there's so many disagreements for no reason almost. I mean, the reason is because we feel that it's easier for us to be in conflict than it is for us to find a deeper understanding, for us to listen to each other. I think that sometimes our opinions can be so problematic and dogmatic that it almost overrides situations, our judgment of people. Like, I love this example too, because it's like, check this out. I've started to understand on a deeper level how labeling people in general can be so damaging, right? Like, for example, somebody said I'm aggressive versus somebody said I joke around too much, and it's like, yeah, and someone else said I'm annoying, right? And my thing is like, yo, dang, maybe I'm a mixture of all these things, right? But at the end of the day, like, somebody's linear concept of you is really not your full truth, right? So it's like, sometimes even when we're taking that on, it's like, you know what? That's somebody working out something within themselves, and maybe I need to mind my own business, right? Like, it is what it is. People are always going to think about you when you something to think about. They're always going to have something to say. And so it's like, you might as well just let them talk, and you keep moving, keep doing what you do, keep moving and grooving, because, at the end of the day, like, there's people who have done great things for the world and are still talked about in the worst ways. I can't name a person. I mean, whether it's Jesus or Stevie Wonder. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know many people who don't like Stevie Wonder, but I'm sure there's somebody who don't like Stevie Wonder. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, there's like so many things that we can say about people, right? How often are we creating the time to hold the space? And so this teaching of Ptahhotep to me is very fascinating, very interesting, because it's like, okay, you were sent to deliver some information from one person to the next, right? Can you do it in a way that is honoring both parties, right? And it makes me think that even in our affairs, can we approach conflict where we're, yes, honoring ourselves, but still honoring the fact that this person may be wounded for whatever reason. We may not understand. We may not even like a person, but I think to be able to still feel, to be able to have that empathy, there's something about that that is so special, that's so divine, that's so connected to the deeper essence of why we are here. And it really is, to me, to express, explore, experience, but to also remember, remember this idea of universal cosmic conscious love that just permeates through everything, and saying like, damn, like, can I recognize that we all got family? Can I recognize that there's greatness and divinity in everything? And maybe the point is to just root ourselves back into that divinity. Sometimes we get so caught up with the ego, and I did the other day too, because I was like, yo, I'm offended. I'm mad. I want to fight. I want to fight this person. I want to fight this person because you know what? Back where I grew up, that's what I was conditioned to do. If you were disrespected, well, I get what we fighting, we throwing hands. But it's like, as I'm, of course, unlearning all of this conditioning, still realizing the remnants that remain, the parts that I'm still trying to detox from, I'm recognizing on a deeper level, like, damn, maybe the key is just to be able to see and understand that people feel deeply, just like I feel deeply, just like you feel deeply. And the folks who you may be considering enemies or just not great people, they are feeling something too, which is inspiring their actions. And sometimes we just have to be able to hold space. I'm not saying everybody's a therapist, but everybody got two ears. Almost everybody got two ears, right? Like we can listen to each other. We can try. We can do a better job at just being still and being patient. So with that being said, I want to say great moment, day, night, wherever you are experiencing this. I hope that resonated with you. Just want to close out with a little prayer. Sending love to those who need it the most, giving thanks to the divine, hold them close. Know that we are all supposed to be rooted in our divinity, recognizing the God within you and me, knowing that there is so much vibrancy and unity, giving thanks to the Nebuchadnezzar, the Most High, opening my first eye wide, keeping me aligned in my purpose, on purpose, being present. That's the present. May we acknowledge the beauty of breath, letting go of the stress, knowing that life is to be lived. And sometimes it's not about what we receive, but what we give. Taking space to listen, knowing that every being is gifted. In essence of this great creator. In essence of this great creator. Ptahhotep, Ashe. Amen. Giving thanks, y'all.